session for July 7th, 2017 at 4 p.m. I call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor Santiago?
Here.
Commissioner Ennis? Commissioner Davis?
Here.
Commissioner Perka-Compare? Here. Commissioner Sui?
Here.
We all stand, salute the flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. This meeting is being conducted in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act of 1975, was advertised, posted, and made available to the public as required by law. The municipal clerk is directed to include a statement in the minutes of this meeting. Madam Clerk, are there any review changes to the agenda?
No, Mayor.
I now open up this meeting for public comment on agenda items only. Anyone that would like to make a comment on an agenda item, please step up to the microphone, state your name, your address, and limit your comments to 5 minutes, please. Seeing no one, I close the public comment on agenda items. Old business, please.
There is no old business on the agenda tonight, Mayor.
All right, we'll go to discussion of commissioners. Commissioner Davis.
I just had a couple things. Just one thing for now. You say Mr. Mallory was coming tonight?
He's coming for the meeting. I'm sorry, he's coming for the closed session.
Oh, okay.
So he'll be at the closed session.
All right, yeah, okay. I'll be able to talk to him then. And the other thing I think was Regina more than anything. It's the RFP for the municipal judge.
Yes.
There were some questions about that arose today.
Yes, I've spoke with Brock, and he's looked into some case law, and he believes that the judge has to be an employee. So we're going to revert it to an RFQ. There's also some concerns about the salary ordinance. Do you want to weigh in on that?
Yeah, what the law is, it's actually, there's just like there's a law in 2B, and the mayor will be familiar with this, not 2C, but in 2B, just like there are rules applied to the prosecutor and the public defender, there's specific statutory rules that apply to municipal court judge. One of which is he is paid, or he or she is paid by pursuant to the salary ordinance.
Okay.
So that to me means that he can't be a quote-unquote contractor. So if the person that's judge is paid by ordinance, then you can't issue an RFP because that would be, you'd be asking people to bid, to submit a low bid. And we can't do that. We have to pay under the salary ordinance. So I think the more appropriate thing to do would be an RFQ, which basically, do you have the qualifications that are required under the statute?
No, we have a salary range in our ordinance. That's okay?
That is okay.
Okay.
So then we can just switch it tonight from RFP to RFQ, and we're good to go?
If that's what you want to do, yes, you can.
Okay, that's what I want to do.
And what you're saying, Brock, that is backed by statute.
It's actually in the statute.
Okay.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it,
NJAC
It's not a
2.
case, but it's in the
What's it,
statute.
NJAC 2.5?
Yeah, it's
SA.
NJSA, and it's 2B,
2.0.
and I think it's in 12. I didn't bring it with me.
No, I could print it. I could get it for you to give it to you.
And what is the compensation range? Has it
Right
been
now,
updated all
the
along?
salary ordinance right now is $80,000 to $91,447, and our present judge has a contract, and her annual amount right now is $85,724.
By way of comparison, the city of Bridgeton judge is paid a salary. They have a salary ordinance too, and it's $63,000. And I don't know what Vineland's is. I was going to try to check before the meeting. I know they have a new judge there.
So, and
Right.
is the number of days the same? Like, how many days is the judge over there?
Well, Bridgeton, I think, meets twice a week, like Millville does.
so.
Vineland is a whole different, ballgame.
So they're only 2 days a week over there in court?
Bridgeton is 2 full days a week. I believe it's Tuesday and Thursday, if I'm not mistaken.
And they also have Fairfield
So,
Township.
so then ours is high from what you're saying?
Well,
Ours is
it's
in the
higher.
No,
It's higher.
Bridgeton's 63 and ours
Yep.
is 80 to 90.
And that's the range by statute.
No.
But no, that's our salary ordinance range.
Okay.
The ordinance can be changed to whatever
Okay.
if necessary. I just wanted to let you know the parameters that we have right now. Should we have to change an ordinance, it's going to take 2 meetings.
I have a question about that ordinance. Our judge gets sick time, I believe. Do any other judges get sick time?
Regina, is that in the ordinance?
It's not in the ordinance, it's in her contract.
Yeah. So I don't think that
So
would
that's
be.
not necessary.
It's not
Yeah, I don't
necessary
think we
now.
need to worry about that.
And vacation, is there vacation time in it too?
There is vacation and sick time, and because she is an employee, and this is under the deferred contribution retirement plan, they are not eligible for pension, but they are eligible to be in the deferred contribution retirement plan, where the city contributes, the employee contributes 5%, and the city matches 3%.
And health benefits?
No,
No health benefits.
Could
that
you-
would be negotiated, and we don't offer them to
Okay.
her.
Can you check and see if the other judges are given vacation and sick time and,
Okay.
But without that, we can move ahead and do the RFQ?
sure, because the contract's not in there.
Okay, and
Her
But then the-
contract's
but
up
then the
when,
salary-
September?
but then
September.
the salary ordinance would stick.
Change the salary ordinance.
at the present time, it's 2 days. Is it Monday and Wednesday? the
Yes,
court?
2 days court.
Do we want to remain that it's Monday and Wednesday, or just say 2 days on the qualification? I mean,
It's best to say 2 days.
okay, and see if they have any issue, okay.
Well, and then, okay, but then would this be an opportunity all to add like a code enforcement day? Because,
You could.
I mean, for
So can you do-
$80,000 a
yeah.
year for 2 days a week.
right,
that's
can't we do
something.
like 2.5 days? Because it's a problem with the code enforcement now with court. So,
What's the
they-
problem?
They are getting called back and forth, so they have a case at 9, and then they go out on the road, and they get a phone call when they're on Laurel Lake. You have to be here, they get there, they're told to leave again, then they're down wherever they are, and they have to come back, so they're scheduling with scattered times on scattered days. And, when they do that, they can't get their work done.
It's not you,
It's not me.
Mr. Connor.
Yeah, our part-time code enforcement officer today, he did absolutely nothing but go from
Court?
the parking lot to court. And last time he got called over there was around 11 o'clock. He
So,
goes home at 12:30.
so if you did 2.5 days, then at least the half a day could be code enforcement, and then that would take care of that issue.
I could put it in as 2 to 2.5 days per week, and
Right.
then the discussion would pursue, if the judge had a way of setting it up, that they could do it in one day in the morning or something, that could be up for
It
discussion.
used to be that way, and all of a sudden it's changed, and it's not working, and it's wreaking havoc.
Does there need to be,
I have another question too. When you,
It used to be how?
They used to do it on
First and third
Wednesday
Wednesdays.
morning,
Right.
First and third
So
Wednesday.
now they changed the time.
and it's
And it's Monday or Wednesday at any time.
morning or afternoon. Bob only works till noon, so that's an issue. And then it's all different times, they're not together. They're making them all go first appearance now, so everybody comes in, they go leave, and then they have to schedule them for another court date where they used to take care of it on first appearance. So there's a lot of things they just changed, and it's not more efficient. And they're closed on Fridays. Why are they closed?
To catch up.
But
Wait a minute, that's what I was told. Don't question me about why.
Okay,
I
then
understand
then
what
I'm
you're
going to
saying.
make a
Yeah.
statement.
I'm
So-
not,
so
I'm not there
com-
every day with them.
I'm coming in and in good faith, I'm coming in to pay my ticket, and I finally got paid, and I'm coming in on Friday to pay my ticket, and I can't pay it because they're closed.
I think they notified the public about that. I think everybody was notified.
So the
but
second
is it a
floor,
problem? It's gonna happen.
Marcy, would you like to be closed on Friday since you're short-staffed right now? Okay.
Third floor?
Then see your commissioner and have it done.
I have a couple questions.
Third floor?
You know,
Go ahead, Joe.
I'm figuring 2 days a week for 52 weeks is 104 days. How many vacation weeks and how much sick time are they getting? And since they're part-time, how are they even entitled to that?
I'm taking this from memory. I believe it was 2 weeks vacation, which would be 4 court days, and it was 5 sick days, and the sick days did not roll over.
is
So
that,
they
is
get-
This
that
is from
pursuant to
memory. I
the
don't have a
contract?
contract in front of me. I believe that's
So
in the
that's
contract.
the contract, not necessarily.
Right, that's in the contract. That would be the next contract you
Yeah.
negotiate, that would be part of it.
Right. The other thing, comment that or thought that I had is, Commissioner Parecka, are you sure that that code would require a half day every week, or would it be a
Yeah.
half day every other week?
And well, I don't know how their caseload is.
And Commissioner Davis too.
Probably every other week would be
Yeah, I
fine.
don't think you need a
Yeah,
half
not
day
every, but I'm
week.
just saying if this is an opportunity to set that up, that would solve the problem that's been going on for the past few months.
Yeah, until recently, they handled code enforcement on the first and third Wednesday at 8:30, beginning at 8:30. And
But
normally, they were done by 10.
They
Yeah,
can't-
There occasional was
Right.
that.
They,
So
from what I,
rather than add another day, would you rather go back to the 8:30?
well, they
Oh,
can't, Mayor. That's the
absolutely.
other point I wanted to make. They can't. Apparently, they can't have court at 8:30 because they would have to get approval from the AOC.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's other business that can be handled before the judge takes the bench. If they start to
I
muster.
just meet with the prosecutor,
Yes,
you mean?
yes.
Okay.
And then when the judge comes in and takes the bench at approximately 9 o'clock, they can just jump right into action.
I don't think they're starting, the judge takes the bench out now, what, 9:30?
No, 9 o'clock is when she's scheduled.
Moving on. Anything else, Commissioner?
Nothing but from,
Commissioner Sui?
Yeah, and
So you're sending it out, right? That was
Commissioner
decided.
Ennis
I'm gonna
isn't here,
try to
but
get
I
it back
noticed
on,
that he
it's
had
still
a
on the agenda, I'll try to get it on.
retention update, basins update discussion. I emailed him to determine what exactly he wanted to discuss, and I didn't get a response.
I think Jeannie just advised me that he won't be here for the work session, but he'll be here for the meeting.
That's the message I got.
Okay, well, I did that
So you
earlier in
know.
the week, but I didn't get that.
I just found out just before the meeting.
Also, all the other updates I can give, during the
Water department.
regular session, and we could get the engineering report. But I did want to talk about, I guess you're going to address the problem at the sewer plant that occurred over the week during your engineer's report. Wayne?
Without getting into personnel names and anything
Without
like
getting
that.
into names, if you'd explain that problem.
Thank
do
you.
it.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. I'll do my best to make it so everybody can understand what happened. The plan as it stands right now has a pilot Trojan ultraviolet disinfection system. It's only one channel. There's 96 bulbs in one channel. The channel flow is regulated by an automated gate that operates and maintains a level above the bulbs, manufacturer's recommendations of 1.5 inches. There's an ultrasonic level transducer that controls that gate. The controller failed on Sunday. When the controller failed, it gave an erroneous reading of a high flow. So it forced the gate to open. When it opened the gate, it lowered the level in the channel past the shutoff point and it shut down the ultraviolet disinfection system. There was an alarm. The operator went back, to check the condition. He said, the bulbs were lit and was running. That was about 12 in the afternoon. Then again at 3 o'clock, there was another alarm, the same condition. The operator, acknowledged the alarm, and in conversation with the next shift operator coming in, they both failed to check the condition of the Trojan system. So during that time period from 3 o'clock to the next alarm at 5 o'clock, there was approximately 2 hours where the plant discharged, treated secondary wastewater that wasn't disinfected by the ultraviolet system. Approximately 191,000 gallons was discharged to the river.
When the lights were on, was it the first time when you looked at it and you thought it was okay? Was it working then, or it wasn't?
The operator reported that he thought it was in an operable condition and functioning okay. That's what he reported.
And if it wasn't, how often do the alarms go off? Like, do they continuously ring or do they stop start?
It'll continuously go off as long as it's in an alarm condition.
So then
he
it
acknowledged the alarm, so our best estimate is that from 12:45 or whatever it was, 12:51 to 3 o'clock, it was operating.
So it did. It was okay then.
Isn't this precisely the reason we have operators on duty 24/7
This is
now?
one of the main reasons that we brought on the second and third shift to ensure that these kind of things don't occur. Because we had other situations like this where problems went on, through the night. Now, the good thing was that the third shift operator did finally go back and acknowledge what was going on and made calls to bring in the appropriate personnel, to make the corrections at 5 o'clock. So he did do that, but he should have gone back there at 3 o'clock when his shift started, and the second shift operator should have gone back there at the end of his shift. Daily rounds is in the morning, the middle of your shift, and the end of your shift. I checked that thing about 8 times today myself just to make sure it was, functioning properly. Now the good news, the only good news out of this is with the new system coming online, it cost us $1.4 million, there'll be a backup system. So if the main bank ever did fail, it'll open up the backup system, it'll signal an alarm so someone will check it, but it'll automatically switch over to the other channel. I mean, the new channel has over 2 times the capacity of the old one, just in one channel alone. So that's the good side. The bad side is that, we should have responded a lot better. And there's nothing we could do to change that. I immediately had everybody retrained, so they understand the importance of the operation of the ultraviolet disinfection system. That's what protects the river from any fecal coliform discharges.
Now, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I mean, the plant's running great. All the numbers are good for the BOD, the TSS. The fecals are less than 10. We're doing great. But when there's a malfunction, there's always going to be a malfunction. We have to respond appropriately and take the right actions, to ensure that we're still meeting our permit limits.
Now, the DEP had to be notified, correct? And we will probably be getting a fine, I'm sure.
DEP had to be notified because of the discharge to the river. So we had to already notify them. We have a case number. I was already contacted by our enforcement officer. He understands that we're going through a transition, but he doesn't understand, why we didn't react properly.
Wayne, so this is an audible alarm.
An audible alarm, yes.
And I'm assuming that's a lot of that's a big problem, correct?
191,000 gallons was 2 hours of plant flow. Our plant flow is about 2.5 million gallons a day.
Wayne, is there a backup person that gets the alarm too, or does it just go to the one individual?
Well, right now we have the guy on site. It calls him. It'll call him automatically, and there's an alarm, an audible alarm at the plant.
So there's two.
There's two.
There's
And then
two
there's
notifications.
Two notifications.
So the audible alarm, there were other employees there, so they should have.
Well,
That was Sunday.
there was one person there when it happened.
Oh,
It
just
was on
one.
Sunday.
24/7.
In the past, didn't the supervisor get the alarm too?
Hold on. What's that?
In the past, didn't the supervisor get the alarm
Some of the
remotely?
alarms will get called out to the supervisor also,
That's by phone?
by phone,
That's through the SCADA system.
through the SCADA or the mission system.
Did
But
it
this
go
isn't
through
it.
that, or that doesn't go through
It didn't do that. Now, I don't know. I don't think that Trojan system is on the mission because it's the pilot. The new one's on the mission, but the old one's not.
Thank you.
So we still have a lot of work to do. I mean, we're making tremendous strides, but then we, slip backwards substantially with something like that.
One more question. Do we know why it failed?
Just a equipment component failure. That's the only, everything breaks down eventually. It's a pilot. It's a rental unit. It's been there for 6 years. We've been renting it from Trojan. Perhaps the module should have been replaced or changed out. It was scheduled to be, replaced, years ago, or upgraded. But, we went a different route.
So not only did we have mechanical failure, we had human failure too.
We had human and mechanical failure, like a combination of events.
That was precisely the purpose of having the humans there.
But the humans, if they had a potential, they could have dropped the gate or do whatever they needed to do.
They could have
So what
went back there. At least they could have went back and saw it was offline and called Sal or myself or another operator. What do I do? And the guy did go back there at 5 o'clock. He did find that condition.
But by that time, you already had 190,000.
191,000 gallons had
91.
gone through.
And
And
there
the
is
bul-
a way to prevent it. There's like a backfill place that could have gone instead of going out to the river.
We could have shut down the plant discharge and diverted the flow to the south aeration tank.
Okay,
That's what should have happened immediately if there was a failure.
okay.
In the future, when we have both aeration tanks on, we'll have some other kind of equalization basin to take care of that kind of an event. Hopefully, this will be the last. I mean, I'm upset. Everybody's upset over what happened. We're working so hard to try and fix the plant and change the way it runs and change the image of the plant, and then we just fall backwards. So we did retrain everybody immediately. We had a plant meeting, contacted the state, and sent an email out to all the commissioners, alerting them to what happened. So having said that, the good news is that today we started to put in the new modules for the Trojan upgrade. They're actually going in right now. They'll probably be in by the end of the week. It'll be operational in another 3 weeks. So that's the good news.
How long does it take to know if we're going to get fined? Like, do they decide relatively quickly, or can it take
We
months?
still
and
haven't
months?
gotten a fine from the last violation in June and July 2016.
Okay.
So it could take some time. Maybe we'll get consideration because of the tremendous upgrades we're making at the plant. Maybe it'll roll it all into the other one. Who knows? I mean, that's my hope anyway. But I hate to start off with that kind of news, but you have to know everything. I did give you a handout when I came in. It's the PCO tracking log. And the green, I color-coded it just to make it a little easier. The green are the ones we already did in the first change order. The blue ones are the ones that will be in change order number 2. They're items that we've all discussed at different meetings or different points along the way. We had to give a change directive to that to keep the project on schedule. With the green and the blue changes, the total amount of the increase to the contracts, $108,000, $442, or 1.5% of the $7,239,100. So we're still well below the ordinance threshold of 5%, where you wouldn't require the engineer to come for, before the board. But I just want to bring everything to the board just so we all have a clear understanding what's happening at the plant and the upgrade. They sprayed the UV channel with the sewer guard epoxy coating. That's complete. They started spraying the south secondary clarifier, and the mechanicals will be going in probably beginning next week. So by July 18th, everything will be up and operational, going through startup for that part of the project. I think the next payment application is in. It's for $449,000, which is appropriate for the amount of work they've done. I just had a few photos just to show you a few things. We're diligently going through the project. That's a test on the UV distribution box, pressure testing the box. We have leaks, and the leaks aren't from anything we've done. The leaks are from the past construction. When they built the chlorine contact tank over the 1908 tank, and then they built the UV channel over top of the chlorine contact tank, all those construction joints are leaking. So we can't finish our leak tests until we seal those leaks. So we have to do pressure grout injection to seal these old construction joints. So we just found that out today. We do have a line item to do that kind of work in the contract, so we'll proceed to take care of that. I don't know if the commissioners want to see any of the pictures. I mean, nobody else seems to get excited about sewer but me. But.
I'd rather look at pictures than.
Yeah, and I was wondering what kind of ordinance you're going to have for us today.
Yeah, I didn't bring anything substantial
We'll get a
tonight.
change order resolution for these at the next meeting.
Yeah, I'll hopefully get that one done.
Okay, all right.
Which while you're selling pictures, you take this rebar with you when you leave?
That's your 1908 rebar.
And then the change orders, do the AECom change orders go into this also to add up to the total? Are they separate?
That's in the
Separate?
total bond amount, right, Marcy?
The different contract.
Yeah,
So the percentages don't add, so it's okay.
that's a different percent. I've been trying to talk with Marcy to make sure we don't get close to going over or above that limit that the commission set. We're trying to work within that.
And ACOM also is a professional service, so it doesn't fall under the 20% change order guideline either.
And I guess the change order for AECom, did you work with them to try to bring that down?
I did. I took things off of their contract that I'm going to be doing myself, like all the soil erosion permitting and issues like that. We had to use them to design the disc filter foundation and the disc filter system as part of the effluent upgrades. The good news with the disc filters online, that'll probably save us energy on the ultraviolet disinfection. It'll also make the pre-UV fecal coliform numbers be substantially lower in the event of any kind of failure. At least we'll know that we're not really polluting the river. We'll be discharging probably a higher fecal number, but not causing pollution. So that might play well with the state, that kind of stuff.
And then are we almost done with AECom?
Probably by March, it'll be done. By March, the project will be done. They still have as-builts to do. They're working through the design on the disc filters right now. There's very few shop drawings left to go through at this point.
So there'll be more change orders from them then?
Well, probably not. There shouldn't be any change orders unless there's some unforeseen event at the
So what they're
plant.
doing now is included in the original?
Yeah, they're all in their original contract. The basic services, reviewing the payments, reviewing the shop drawings. That's part of their original scope. I did respond to the original June 2016 violation notice from NJDEP. I sent a response, to their report. I think I copied the commission on that. We have a final layout for the disc filters. There'll be 3 in a row. Take up a small compact space. So this will be an enhancement to the plant to ensure that the UV never fails again, unless it goes offline for some unforeseen condition. That's all I had, Commissioners. I apologize for the bad news with the discharge. Wish I could have been there myself to stop it.
Thank you, Wayne.
Thank you, Wayne.
Thank you.
Got anything, Brian?
Going to start off with the road projects. 3rd Street, pretty much complete. We're just doing a punch list, and we also have to do some asphalt core testing out there, so we get quotes for that and test the asphalt. In Vine Street, did all the pavers, the flat work's complete. What's remaining is the landscaping, a little bit of landscaping, the light poles and benches. And then High Street again, we're waiting for their schedule for phase 1. That should start shortly. I think their sub was on the Vine Street job, so now that they're pretty much done the curb work, it should be starting shortly. In phase 2, we got that out to the DOT. They gave us some preliminary comments on that. I received bids on that the end of July. So then you'll have the two phases out. That'll be completed by the end of this year. And also we did some gas testing out at the landfill, part of our quarterly reporting. We sent that out to DEP. Also, Marshford Bikeway Trail, the federal funding, DOT contacted us and they want to set up a meeting probably beginning of July to go over that project.
Will that cost the city anything, or it's going to be funded in full with the money?
It's going to cost us maintenance when it's done.
Well, okay, how about otherwise?
It'd be, it's a reimbursement grant, so we get paid when the work's complete.
Up to that amount, though? So if we go over the $500,000, then we pay the extra, or we stop work when we get close to it?
Yeah, that's 517,000 is that's the amount. So
Okay.
make sure we do the estimates and try to make sure we don't go over that. And then actually the design part of it too, we don't have to pay for that. That's part of a DOT program, the design assistance program, and they pay for $200,000 worth of design work. And that's so we work with a consultant. We select a consultant, and then DOT pays for that amount. And also, actually, good news also for 6th Street, we did get the grant for that project. We got $235,000 roughly for that, and that the estimate on that was roughly $600,000. So. And the idea originally is the city to pay part and the DOT to pay part. So we'll have to see. I want to move forward with that. In the past, sometimes we waited a year and gotten another round of funding.
We already bonded for that.
So.
We check, I'm sure.
What to look through the bonding and make sure that's covered there. We can discuss that. And also, there's some questions on the shown property previously. And there's an initial cleanup that has to be done before the grant work can start, so we'll have to get some quotes for that, and see what we're talking about. So we can try to move forward with that property. Let's see. So I got, and then in Marlin Terrace, been trying to get a hold of the property owner. I've stopped out there. We still haven't got any response, so there's at least
Just
the
the last
one.
one, right?
Yeah, the last one. We still have to get a hold of them somehow.
Did you leave a note on the door, maybe?
Yeah, and maybe I'll have to try different times. Maybe I'll stop at night later. But we'll have to do that.
What's that? Are we paying them? They want to get paid, right?
No,
Is that
that's the
correct?
other
That's a
the other
different.
one.
There's
That's
two
a
that
different
we
property
haven't
owner.
resolved. One will do it, but they want to get paid, and then the other one we just haven't been able to contact one way or another. We don't know what the position is.
Which,
And it's too complicated to go around the one that wants to get paid. I'm just asking.
Which one is that?
That-
Brian?
That's the one that fronts on 49. Not the one
You'd have to redesign it.
on Marlin.
Brock, would that be a proper use of eminent domain? See that strip of land that we need to do that?
Yeah, you might be able to do it, but, there's costs involved in doing that as
Well,
well.
I know there's costs, but this is
Nothing's
taking
cheap.
forever. If we get another bad storm, then the next thing you know, we're gonna be in the same mess we were in before, and, perhaps if we send a letter saying we're interested, that we're exploring that, then at least people will start to respond. Because it's ridiculous to wait a year to get easements.
You want me to write a letter then?
Please.
To both of them?
Yeah. Give us an answer one way or the
Because
other.
I guess you had designed two ways to do that project in the beginning, and wasn't this the one that was more cost-effective and easier?
I'm sorry, Commissioner, I couldn't hear.
I'm sorry, didn't you originally look at two ways to do this project?
Two routes, two pipe routes.
And this was the best way, or the least expensive way?
We actually had to change the design of the pipe to accommodate one of the property owners, who didn't want the pipe close to their home. So we deflected the pipe to the north and added a manhole, a little bit more pipe.
And that's the one that wants the money.
Yeah.
Yeah, both routes still went through the same property. Just
So,
at a
okay, so you
different
don't have a
angle.
choice, you have to go through their property.
We have to go through the property. The only other option would be to design some kind of recharge system in the Marlin Terrace right away. I think that would probably be more costly because we're looking at, ADS perforated pipe and stone for recharge. So it's plus road restoration. So that would maybe double the cost.
Yeah, there's
Now we
probably,
have to
yeah.
store it on site and recharge it, where before we just discharge it to the state system.
So for public safety, if the individuals say no, then that's the end of it, even though it's a public safety issue.
Well, the municipality might have the right to exercise its powers under eminent domain, and then that involves a lawsuit, and you have to go through a process. It's not necessarily something that's gonna be done very expeditiously. That's the problem.
Well, I mean, nobody really wants to do that, but if we go through all this, which we've been going through for months, why should we wait to get that ball started if that's the ball that we're gonna have to throw? So we might as well get the ball started, and if it doesn't work out that way, hey, great.
And I just want to remind the commission, I'm sure you forgot this point, this was originally a design from 1969. Is that right, Brian? A
Roughly, yeah.
1969 original design by Bill McCafferty, one of the city engineers, and it never went through in 1969 because a homeowner wouldn't give them the right to go through their property.
So then
So
they
we
did
could've done that.
nothing, though?
Nothing got
Then
done.
they did nothing, though, to fix it?
Not that I know of. The only thing I could see that was done is from Marlin out to behind Mr. Bruno's property was a open-ended outfall pipe that, just discharged into a low area in the woods. That's probably all that was done.
And that obviously didn't work.
But that's insufficient to take care of the flows for, high storms.
Should've started that eminent domain stuff 39 years ago, maybe it would be done.
if you did the recharge design and went for that option, how long would that take? I know it would be more expensive, but
They don't, that's what eminent domain's for, so they.
Probably wouldn't take long to go through design, it's just that the cost would be substantially higher.
So at this point, our best bet is to try to get a hold of that homeowner and see what they want and go from there.
Yeah, this is the one we haven't been able to get hold of. They're actually on Marlin Terrace, so yeah, we don't know what they're gonna.
Have we sent
Really
them
what?
notarized letters?
Not sure what's been.
yeah, there are
Yeah.
two homeowners that have not signed the easement. One will if they're paid a certain sum of money.
Right.
And then the other one, we just have not been able to contact them, and we don't know what they might say no, they
Right.
don't want to do it. So we just haven't been able to make contact with them. And I think that there's been an effort we've sent them letters. I know my office has on more than one occasion, and I think the engineering department has actually gone out there and knocked on the door a number of occasions.
You're gonna redo
May
it.
have to go later in the day.
It's not even, you don't know it's gonna work.
7, 8 o'clock
Yeah,
at night, I don't
yeah.
know.
So,
Why don't we look at the alternative, just so we have a number to use for comparison?
Well,
I
the
know
streets
it's gonna be
probably,
high.
redo the streets probably gonna cost you $200,000 at least, not counting all the work.
Plus
You're
you have
probably
all
gonna
the
triple the
utilities
cost.
to cross, the water, the sewer, the gas. It's gonna be complicated. It'll have to be deep, to get below all those utilities. It'll probably be prohibitive for our own crews to do it without
We're
trench
not gonna have
boxes.
time to do it.
Yeah.
So I guess the first step is we gotta get a hold of these people and find out where they stand. Whether we do the numbers or not, it doesn't really
We'll
matter.
come up with the numbers for the other route, just so we know what it is.
Just keep everything rolling all at once and then sooner or later.
okay.
Anything else, Brian?
And there's another drainage, well, actually, on our list, Harrison Homestead. I did get a call from the property owner on that. That might be something we want to revisit. With of course, with all the drainage problems with the possible upcoming storms, people have concerns, and he had a concern of, he's several times he's had to clean up his basement. So, I just want to kind of make note of that. We want to put that back up.
That was fixed,
priority-wise.
correct, supposedly? Work was done there.
Sharp Street.
Homestead and Harrison. Yeah, and there was there was talk of doing like a perforated system, adding some pipe in there. I'm trying to remember what was.
They went out and did
Later.
some work. I don't know what they did, because I remember Commissioner Ennis talking about it.
I don't
Yeah,
recall any work being done. I think they found a buried manhole on the street to the south, is that right?
Yeah, I guess toward.
I think there was an
Old
older
Union Road.
design to put a perforated recharge system in. That work was never done. And that was probably from 2008.
Right about, yeah. Yeah.
I'm looking for it right now.
Yeah, they did some, I think, in 14 or 15,
They did? Okay.
or we were told they did.
Okay.
All right, I just want to kind of bring that up. So, that's all I have for now. If you have any other questions.
No, not with that. I do want to point out, we got a list and then that, engineering, personnel from engineering inspected after we did a series of cleanouts for different drains throughout the town where we had a problem. So that was a good way to do that, to have the inspections follow the crews that actually did the clean out. I'm not sure who did that. I think Jimmy did it.
Okay, and I know Nick did some,
And Nick did
and
some,
then
and Jim
we
did
passed along. Yeah, I think
So
between the
that
two
was
of
a good
them.
way to work together and, and that worked out well. So thank you for that. Next I want to get into the, thank you.
I have one question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was told Lytle, for their zoning permits being held up for escrow fees, for a bond, is that true?
Yeah, they had to submit their engineer's estimate, which we since reviewed with Dave, and so they had to. I haven't seen anything yet, but yeah, they had to submit bonding and an escrow.
So they haven't given it to you, or they have given it to you?
Yeah, we have the estimate. Yeah, and it looks good. And yeah, so
They submitted the estimate, you got the estimate, but you haven't gotten the
we haven't
amount
gotten
yet.
we haven't gotten the actual performance bond and it's checked with planning, but I don't think they've gotten the escrow amount, the three. Well,
So who follows up on all this to make sure it doesn't fall? Because, I mean, they're already building their other stores. So I would hate for us to be holding them up. It's a good project.
Well, we
Right.
did just get the DEP permit too, copy of DEP permit that.
Yeah, that just
for
came
the-
in too.
That just came in too, so that, today, I think.
So they're holding up themselves. It's nothing that we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the DEP permit, yeah, there was a wetlands permit they had to get
So it's
modified.
an extra step for them to do.
Right.
Okay.
But yeah, we did have to review that estimate, which we did, so that they can base their bond amounts and escrows on that.
Because I would hate for something to
Yeah.
happen and lose that project.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're pretty much,
So does somebody stay on top of them or talk to them, or who's supposed to
Yeah,
do that?
I'm talking with the engineer, actually. He was asking about like the compliance plans, which Dave, he's reviewed those. I don't think there's any comments on that. So as long as, yeah, so I mean, I'll contact them and just see where they're at with their bonding and
Should
and
you do
escrows.
that, or the planner does that, or who does that?
Let's see, that would be, well, I mean, I've done it in the past. I mean, planning's done it before.
So it just depends.
Yeah, I mean, we could sit down and see who does that.
We had no set procedure on who does it. I mean,
So-
let's just cut the chase, right?
Well, you're communicating with the engineer to engineer. You think you can solve it at that level?
Yeah, as far as the estimates, I mean, I could talk with the engineer that way. I mean, typically, I mean, the planning board secretary, she's got the portal for, receiving the documents, checking the escrows, and,
So would it be helpful if you had meetings, because I know we were talking about would it be helpful, because I know we were talking about some other things that fall through the cracks, if you had meetings with the secretary, the planning board secretary and the construction official once a month?
Yeah, no, I mean, we've done the tech review. I kind of like to get back with that. I mean, I know we had a planning consultant, and she was kind of spanning some of the roles there with the secretary, and I think that, training Tracy and getting her familiar. So, I think it's worth a sit down to, maybe get everybody together and just kind of designate, you can be in charge of this, yeah, it'd be helpful, yeah. That's almost kind of like, it'd be like the tech review and some training, I guess.
Because I think they
once a
had
month.
written up a protocol of what was supposed to go on with the projects and a checklist
Okay,
going down. I think that was done already, but I don't know if they're being used.
okay. Yeah, I think a coordination meeting would be good.
Okay.
It's a good idea.
Okay, thank you. I guess.
Yep, thank you.
Can escape.
Additionally, with reference to stormwater basins, Bluebird Lane, Pond Avenue, Wade Boulevard, 3rd and Wheaton Avenue have been rebuilt, and they're working on some more. The retention ponds at Manor Estates cleaned today, so there was a delay in that because of equipment that we wanted to get to do it ourselves, then they wanted to charge us $6,000 to bring the equipment up here, so we ended up contracting it out and getting it done. That took care of that. I did want to address the chlorine leak. Steve's here, so I think I can explain it. If I mess up somewhere, just let me know. So there was a chlorine leak on 8th Street, correct? 7th and 8th Street. We use gas, chlorine gas to treat the water system. We do that because it's really the best way to do it as far as efficiency of treating the water and the cheapest way to do it. However, because it's located in a residential area and by the school, there's an alternative way to do it with tablets, and it'll be safer. The ones out in the industrial park will leave the way they are. So it'll be safer to do it with the chlorine tablets, so we'll make that switch over. So that should alleviate some concern. I gotta get to my emails here because I brought the wrong piles of paper with me, so just bear with me for a minute. Oh, wrong one, just give me 1 second. The roof has been replaced out at Union Lake Park. The police station is a lighting-only project as far as the green energy stuff goes, and the material should be in next week, and then we'll be ready to schedule with the police department, and that'll take about 2 days. The RCA building, the unit was placed, the air conditioning unit was placed on the roof, and the only thing left there will be to install the lighting, and that will take 1 day to complete. Still working here. Oh no, I'm sorry, it's been complete here at the municipal building, and a new condenser unit was also placed on the roof. Events I'll do later. I think that's about it.
Thank you. Commissioner Perry.
Yeah, on the agenda tonight, and Mr. Malley will be here later, Schaefer Homes is on there for a residential abatement. Our tax assessor, Mr. Rosenberger, informed me we have to be careful that they know that they still have to apply for the abatements. So I don't know if you want to tell the rest of the commission.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify with Brock also if this is technically an enabling ordinance for these residential abatements for this specific project. Is that how this is structured? Or is it a broad stroke that we're going to have all residential abatements?
No.
I think
It's
specific
just
to
for
this.
them.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Well, I think we need to clarify and make sure everyone understands that, because I've gotten questions just walking down the hallway today. So, the other thing that you had mentioned, Commissioner, this particular ordinance does not approve them for the 5-year tax agreement. There will be separate agreements for every single structure as it's complete. They will have to file with my office. And then you will have to approve that, not have to, but you will have the opportunity to approve that agreement, each individual agreement as it comes in. Now, that's how I understand it to be structured. If it's supposed to be set up a different way, I just want to kind of be in the loop. That's the way I foresee it playing out, because you're going to have these homes that are completed at different times. So a blanket approval isn't going to fit the model of a residential development where you have units being completed at separate times during the years. So I don't know if you have.
I don't have an answer for you tonight
Okay.
on that. I'll have to talk to you about it.
All right. I just want them to be aware, that, as a developer, that they're going to have to do some more legwork as far as applications and things like that. And the other issue with that is, if it is structured that way, where they have to have individual agreements, our current ordinance, at least under the commercial and industrial exemptions, we apply an added assessment from the time of completion till the end of the year that it's complete, in that current year, October 1st, instead of waiting until the end of the 5-year cycle, so that we can start on January 1st, the 0 year, and then 20% every year after that, and then they would go on at 100% at the end of the 5 calendar years. So it's not, say it's complete July 1st. It wouldn't run 5 years from July 1st. It would technically run 5 years from January 1st of the following year. And they would still have to pay that 6-month increment of the year it was completed in.
So they pay their taxes for the first 6 months,
on the building
or
portion.
the 1 month, or whatever it is.
Right, depending on, that was just an example.
Right, and then they start with the abatement after that.
Correct. It's just cleaner paperwork-wise, and they typically don't like it, because the whole idea is, well, why am I paying taxes up front? I'm trying to save taxes up front and then, phase everything in. It can be set up the other way. I'm just telling you how we do it with commercial. It can be set up the other way where they go from July 1st, 5 years, and then on July 1st of that last 5th year, they then get an added assessment for the 6 months of that year at the end. So it's just a different way to set it up. Again, it's your call. I just think it's something we need to kind of work out before we, jump into this ordinance, and I want them to at least be on notice that these are different, minute points, but they're.
Well, he's coming the attorney's coming tonight,
Okay.
and so is Schaefer Holmes, so we'll be able to talk to them
Okay.
and see if we can straighten out beforehand. If not, it'll get delayed, that's all.
Well, again, if you need, do you need me there tonight to talk to them about it, or can?
I'm hoping he'll be here, he should be here around 5 o'clock, so
Okay.
if you don't mind sticking around for a few minutes
No,
then.
that's fine, yeah.
Okay, because I told him he's coming for the closed session, which is supposed to be by 5:30, so he should be
Okay.
here.
All right, great, thank you.
Thank you. I also wondered, you had, Mayor, talked to the SPCA. I didn't know if that was resolved or not resolved.
Has been resolved. I spoke to Brock today. We're going to come up with a contract, so all of us can view it, let them view it. I think we came up with an agreement. Regina, you were there at the meeting. I think we resolved it, and we just have to come up with our contract, have them review it and approve it, us approve it, and move forward with it.
Okay. And then the other thing that came to my attention is some of the correspondence that comes into the city. There was a letter regarding training for CDBG, so we're being investigated by HUD, and what had happened when that all occurred, I had contacted them to give us training on the computer program, because we've never had formal training on the program, so the staff could be. So we've been going back and forth for about 6 to 9 months, and I found out that there was a letter sitting that had never been answered from March. So apparently, most of the letters go from the department. I guess a lot of them, Mayor, you get, or it goes someplace, and then depending, sometimes you don't know if it's important or not. So I didn't know if there was a way to do things, like to funnel the letters if it pertains to a certain department to that commissioner, and then you don't have to worry about
I
it.
could do that. I believe the letter they're talking about in March, I don't think I've ever received. The second letter I gave. I
You
gave
did send
you.
it to me, and I am working
They
with
sent me one that
HUD.
was stamped March received. I don't know where it went. That's what I'm saying. I don't know where they went. I've been going back and forth with them and getting a little bit of runaround. Then they got to show me this letter that supposedly
Right.
wasn't answered. So I don't know where they end up or where they go. I just didn't know if there was a better process that we can do, because you wouldn't know that that was important
Well,
either.
Well-
I open up every email or
And-
every letter, and I
Right.
think in that case, they said that I received it. I never received
HUD,
it.
HUD also is a little more difficult to deal with. They sent us a letter that I was involved with Commissioner Davis, and we went on and we upgraded all the points of contact.
Right.
And they had all the points of contact that was in the letter, but because there wasn't some form signed by the highest elected official, nothing was done. And that update was done 2-3 months ago, and that's what there's. So then, when I went in to do the approval, I had IDIS access in finance. I used it all the time. I haven't used it since I've been an administrator. If you haven't used it in 90 days,
Password's no good.
not on password, I have to have it all notarized and all again to be
Again.
allowed to use it.
No, I know it's a problem, and I know
It's a very complicated. It's not a friendly system.
No, and they're doing things a certain way now because we are being investigated. So it's just a catch-all. So the bottom line is we need to get the training done, but I know there's some other things every once in a while that we don't hear or find, so I don't know if there's a way that correspondence should go to the department that it pertains to.
Well, maybe instead of, the mayor's sort of the clearinghouse
Sure.
of a lot of stuff, because he's the mayor, and people are just going to send stuff to the mayor.
Sure.
And then maybe if it doesn't concern your department, maybe instead of trying to figure out where it should go, it can just go to Regina, and then let Regina get it to the right department. That might make it a little more streamlined.
Yeah, because I
Not a
can
problem.
imagine how much you get,
Well,
and
here's
I
the
know.
file right now.
Right, so that way then it'll be easier for you.
I'll be
or
glad to
for
get rid of
Jerry.
it.
Yeah,
Be ready.
okay.
Thank you.
So then, as far as you know, though, then that's taken care of now, so I can email
We're in the
them back
process.
about-
The mayor has to sign off for my authorization, and he also has to sign the letters already. I have both signatures downstairs.
Because it would be nice if they got trained, because there's an issue, finance wants the training and also the 5th floor. So it's two departments trying to get it done.
Right. And they did send me everyone that was active, and everyone was deleted. And we have 2 former employees who are active. And I checked with Marcy on it, and Marcy said that she's tried several times to have them removed, and they're not removed. They're still in there. She said they're not active. If you go on, they don't have access. But when they send this list, they're on this list.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why it's a difficult program, and that's
It's
why it would be
difficult.
nice if we had the formal training,
Right.
and then there can be no excuses in the future for why things aren't done. So, okay. That was it. Thank you.
Anything else?
That's it.
I'd like to mention some great events that us commissioners were able to go to. And I hope I'm not taking any of your thunder here, Joe. But we had Olympic Day in the last few weeks. Commissioner Sui's department had the senior barbecue, which I thought was fantastic. It was well attended. We had the air show, which I have a report to give, and also the Memorial Day Parade. In addition to that, I went to the first Tech Award Scholarship event yesterday, which was jam-packed. It was very exciting. Some of the kids that received awards and scholarship from our new VOTEC, very exciting. A lot of parents were there. But I'd like to thank all the commissioners that attended. I think all 4 of us here either attended all of them or attended 3 or 2 of them. So some positive things that I just wanted to mention that happened in the last few weeks while we weren't here. With that, I have nothing else. We'll move right into, I think I'm on the right one here.
New business. Village Drive.
Village Drive.
Yeah, that's a chance for us to test out the way we're doing redevelopment now. So this is an initial agreement with someone that wants to come in and do a redevelopment plan with us for a project. It's over by Wheaton Village. So basically, this is just that we want to proceed with it, and then we'll narrow down what we want to give them in an agreement. So as far as a pilot, a tax abatement, they are in a UEZ area, so they'll be able to make use of that, which will help them on construction.
This is a senior project?
Yes.
The guys that came in?
Yeah, it's the assisted living. So it's going to be 70 to 80 jobs. It's very exciting. It's going to help out Wheaton Arts. So it's, in my opinion, it's a very good project, and they're going to be adding on, and got to see the plans or the tentative plans, and it's very exciting. So they're near the school. They're going to partner with the school to have the kids do some things with the seniors. They'll have use of Wheaton Arts, and they'll also get the Heritage House off the backs of Wheaton Arts, which will help them financially. So all good, but that's on if anybody had any questions about that, but that's a tentative agreement, and then the details will be ironed out, and then everybody can vote on that. And we'll have to go before the planning board. We are not bypassing the planning board, but it should be quicker and more efficient for them. They're hoping to have everything done by in place for them to proceed by the end of the year. So we'll see if it works.
Did that involve the hotel also?
Yeah.
Yes.
It did, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Anybody else? All right, we've now moved to the public comment portion of the meeting. Anyone that would like to address the commission, please go to the podium, state your name and your address, and address your concerns, and please limit your comments to approximately 5 minutes. Seeing no one, I close the public comment portion of this meeting. Comments of commissioners. Commissioner Davis?
Nothing this time, man.
Mr. Sui?
Nothing.
Commissioner Perry?
Progress.
Myself, progress. We will now move into a special meeting.
Okay, we have a resolution authorizing closed session for the following matters: the Lavoy Theater, attorney-client privilege exemption, Ricky Slate Construction under potential litigation, and the Sewer Department under personnel matters.
So moved.
Second motion.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perry?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
And Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Okay.
Any shot?